Today's video is a Q&A. I have a special announcement and I'm going to show you my Christmas decor. Hey guys, welcome back and welcome if this is your first time. Today I'm going to answer a bunch of your questions. I put it out on Instagram and you guys sent me a bunch of questions that I'm going to go through, and also some assumptions about me. So what people just assume. This is a video that has been going around YouTube and I think they are fun to watch, so I thought I would do one with you guys. Okay, first to the announcement, because you may have already noticed I changed my channel name. So my channel name used to just be my name, but now it is called Mindful Midlife. So why did I do that? I did it for a couple reasons. First of all, it's because I wanted it to reflect what my channel is actually about. So everything that I put on my channel is geared towards women who are 50 plus. Now I know I have a bunch of women who watch who are younger than me, and I don't want to exclude them. I'm so happy that you guys feel welcome here as well. But because I am 53, I'm 54. I keep forgetting that. I'm 54 now. Since I am 54 and I'm almost in the middle of my 50s, everything that I do has a thought process of somebody who is in their 50s. So I want to have my midlife be very mindful. I want to do things purposely. I want to have a thriving midlife and not just concede to being old, if that makes sense. I want to be able to look back on my midlife years and think, I worked on them mindfully. And so my channel is going to reflect that. You guys know that I am a Christian, and so I obviously want to be mindful in my faith and my walk with the Lord, my relationship with my husband, with my children, with my friends, my relationship to food, my relationship to everyday life. How am I doing things? Am I doing them mindfully or am I doing them haphazardly? So I always want to try to strive towards mindful living, and therefore my channel is going to reflect that. And it's really not changing at all. I'm going to keep doing the things I've done. I'm just going to call it Mindful Midlife instead of my name. So therefore, you guys have seen that, and that's my big announcement. It's not that big, but it was kind of fun to come up with the name. I struggled so hard with that. Okay, on to the Q&A and assumptions, because they're kind of fun. There's a couple in here that I think were they just made me laugh. Have you made any positive changes since COVID began? So yes, I have. And I already did a whole video on this. During COVID and during the whole spring and into the summer, my husband and I took up bike riding for the first time in many, many, many years. We don't have extra money to spend, and so we needed to do something that wouldn't cost us a lot, and we also wanted to get out and feel some freedom because we didn't have a lot of freedoms at that point. So we took up bike riding, and it was one of the best decisions we ever made during that time. We started probably in May, and we went about over 500 miles. We were also at the same time raising money for a program called Worthwhile Wear, which is a local one here. We actually know the people who have started this. It's a ministry where they help women who have been involved in human trafficking to get them out of human trafficking. And so every mile that we rode, $1 was donated to this ministry. And so that was really fun. We did that all throughout, I think, all of August and all of September. All of our miles went towards that. So that was really fun that we worked towards that. So yes, positive change, huge, was adding bike riding. And I'm so sad it's too cold to do it now. And actually, we don't have any bikes anymore. They both broke. So we have no money to buy a new bike, and it's okay because we can't ride them right now. In the spring, we are hoping to be able to buy 2 new bikes. So I'm hoping that happens. Okay. Next question. Have you always worked in a school, and what is your job? No, I have not always worked in a school. I've had many jobs. I've been a nanny. I have worked in direct sales in my home. I did that for 15 years. But my job right now at our school is I am the executive administrative assistant to the head of school and the middle and upper school principal. And I am also a an event planner for a major event that our school holds, where we get big name people to come into our school as a fundraiser. And we have a really large dinner for them, anywhere between 50 to a couple hundred, and then a huge event where it's open to the general public and people pay tickets to come. And it's just a big fundraiser. We've had huge names like Carson Wentz, who is the quarterback of the Philadelphia Eagles. We've had Tim Tebow. We have had Phil Robertson of Duck Dynasty. We have had President Bush. We've had some big name people in there. And so that has been a really fun part of my job, that I could be involved in that. And it's mind-boggling how many people it takes, because there's a lot of volunteers. I think for Carson Wentz, we had over 100 people volunteering that I was in charge of. So I'm a very detailed person and a very organized person and methodical. So it just works well with my personality to be in that line of work. Okay, this is an assumption about me. Are you, oh no, I guess it's a question. Are you very patient? Do you get cranky? I thought that was funny. No and yes. No, I am not a very patient person, and yes, I do get cranky. Like I said just a minute ago, I am a very methodical, organized person, and I need to work in an environment where it's very structured. And like I said, I'm methodical and detail oriented. When too many things are coming at me at one time, I can get impatient and I can get cranky. Now, if you add in there lack of caffeine and lack of food, then I'm really cranky. So of course I have my cranky moments. Do I try to not let that affect me? Of course. I have worked through the years of trying to not let it overtake me, but there have absolutely been moments where I've shut down and I just get to the point where I'm like, okay, can't handle it anymore. I don't do that very often, but once in a great while that does happen. I'm like, no more. And some crying may occur, and lack of sleep does not help. But yeah, I do struggle with being patient, because when I get an idea in my head, I want to run with it. I'm like, okay, let's go, full throttle, let's go. And if there's other people who are not on board with this, then I do get impatient with that. And so it's one of my flaws that I absolutely need to work on. But it also is a benefit to me, because that's what drives me forward. That's what gets me going and gets me moving. And so it's a good thing sometimes. Okay, are you still doing intermittent fasting? And is it helpful? So if you don't follow me on Instagram, you will not know this, because I did nothing on my channel about it. I have started interspersing intermittent, oh my heart, that's a lot to say, interspersing intermittent fasting along with doing WW. And I started probably about a month ago, so I've been doing it pretty much. I think I've really been sticking to it. It's harder on the weekends, yes. I think I'm not still doing it. I think that I tried it for about a month, and the first week I gained weight. The second week I did lose a couple pounds, but I also was very careful with what I ate. So I don't know, it's a catch-22. I was kind of thinking it would start really boosting my metabolism and start losing weight in a month, and that really did not happen. Now, having Thanksgiving happen at the end of this did not help. I don't mind the whole break. I did the 16-8 program, where it's you fast for 16 hours and you have an 8-hour window. That's when you have all your eating. So basically from 8 p.m., 7:30 to 8 p.m. the night before till 11:30 or 12 the next day is when I would fast. So sleeping is in there. So a lot of that is my sleeping. So that was not so bad. I did have a cup of coffee in the morning with fat-free half and half. And they said as long as I'm under 50 calories, it's okay for me to go ahead and do that. So I did have that, but that's all I had. And the rest was just water. And then I would start eating, and I would try to stay within my points with WW. I think it taught me a lot of things. I may try it again, maybe in the new year, because right now it's just life is just kind of up and down and crazy right now. So I may try it again, but right now I'm just going to stick with normal WW and keep going on that. So yeah, I have not really lost much weight at all over the past couple months. Again, I'm just struggling like you guys do. I just struggle. So yeah, that's where I'm at. Okay, so this is an assumption about me. She said, I assume that you are a good mom, a good friend, and very supportive of your husband. So I appreciate that. That just means a lot to me that you assume that. I do my best. I have a good relationship with my kids, obviously with my husband as well. I have some amazing friends that I love to spend time with. I am not a very a huge amount of friends kind of person. I have my really close friends. I have a group of ladies that I do a book club with. It's kind of a book club / Bible study with, and we meet once a week. No, once every other week. Right now we're doing it by Zoom. And we always go through some kind of book that helps. We're all people in our midlives. So that's a really fun thing. I think I might do a video at some point of the books that we've gone through. If you guys would be interested in that, comment below and let me know. And I'll maybe talk about the book. We've done, I think, 4 books so far. And they've been really helpful. But they are if I need prayer, they're my go-to people. And obviously my good friends. But they are the people who I'm like, guys, I need prayer. I need help with this, and they know that they could come to me and I would pray for them and I would help them. So yeah, so thank you for that. I appreciate that you assume that. Okay, this one makes me laugh. Assumption, you were a cheerleader. Assumption is correct. I was a cheerleader. I was a cheerleader in high school and I was a cheerleader in college. I only went 1 year to college where I was in the dorm. I finished college later on after a couple years, but I was a high school cheerleader and I loved it. I was cheerleader for basketball and football and it was a lot of fun. So yes, good assumption. Okay, where did you buy the shiplap on the wall behind you? And so that's this wall. Actually, my husband made this wall. What we did is we bought a plank, like a 4 by 8 foot, huge planks of wood that are really, really thin, like at Home Depot or Lowe's. I think it was Lowe's. It doesn't really matter. And we had them cut them into strips. I don't know how many inches that is, 6 to 8 inches wide. And then my husband just put it in a pattern that seemed logical without lines connecting, vertically. And we painted it white and it's a flat white and I love my shiplap wall. So thank you. Yep, it was all homemade and very, very cheap. How old are your children? I have a daughter who is 21 and a son who is 24. Okay, this one made me laugh too. Do you ever use a housekeeper or have you always cleaned yourself? I actually did have a housekeeper for a couple years, way back when my kids were little. She would come every other week, every other week to do the nitty-gritty cleaning. That was when I worked in direct sales and I worked out of my home and the kids were little and it was just too much for me to keep up with. So yeah, I did at that point, but I haven't had her since, oh my goodness, so long ago. And she was so affordable. She was $50 whenever she came. It was wonderful. I mean, that's so affordable now. But yeah, now I do it with help with, we are in our home, 5 adults living in our home. I know I told you I only have 2 kids, but we have one girl living with us, actually a woman, I should say. She's 21. And she's my daughter's friend, and she's living with us just so she can get on her feet financially. So she is living with us with her dog, and she has been here since July. So I divide up the chores amongst the 3 kids, and obviously then I pick up the slack where it is, and my husband does a lot of the cooking and the grocery shopping. And so we divide it out that way, and I'm very methodical. I'm very methodical how I send and set that whole thing up because I want to make sure things are picked up and clean. And so I text them these notes that says what they each are doing and if you want a little chart on how I do that, I'll let you know. I'll give you more information. Let me know below if you want me to really tell you how I do this. But yeah, so yeah, we do clean ourselves. That made no sense. So this is an assumption about me. You are a very positive attitude person who always looks for the bright side of things. I would say that assumption is mostly true. Saying always, no. I do not always look on the bright side of things, but I tend to look on the bright side of things. I am generally a positive person. I don't like to just wallow in the negatives. I've never been that way. I don't like to dwell on the negatives in life because it's just negative, I guess. This year has been one of the most difficult in our lives, and I know it's been difficult for everybody. So I don't want to act like I am the exception to anything. This has been hard. My husband lost his job back in January, so he's been out of a job for almost 11 months now. And so, yeah, that one has been hard for us. That was new. First time in our lives where we haven't had his income coming in for any length of time. Or any time, actually. He's never been without a job. And so, yeah, that's been a difficult thing. But I also, because I'm a Christian, I'm a very strong believer that God has a plan for our lives. And I know that He knew this was coming. And I know that He has a plan for it. And I just trust completely in His plan. Now, does that mean we sit back and let things just happen? No, we absolutely do our part. But I don't dwell on it because I trust in Him. I trust that God can see beyond this and we're going to be okay because He promised that He would take care of my needs. So I am just looking towards that and looking forward. So I did a whole video on husband's job loss and all that, so I'm not going to go into too much detail. You guys can go watch that video. I'll link it below. So yes, I generally look at the positives and not dwell on the negatives. Is Bobby a nickname? Yes, Bobby is a nickname. My real name is Roberta. So I am named after my dad, who was Robert, and they were gonna call me Linda Sue. And I do not feel like I look like a Linda Sue, but of course, who thinks they look like somebody else. So they called me that, and my dad's nickname was Bobby when he was younger, and Bobby just stuck with me. Roberta's not my favorite. I do not mind my name at all. Bobby I like. When I married my husband, he's Copy, so Bobby Copy. Yep, that's... married into that one. And I generally actually don't even mind that anymore. It bothered me at one point because it sounded too cutesy. When we named our kids, I wanted to make sure that they didn't have that happen with Bobby and Copy, the E at the end. So Ryan, doesn't have that, and Rachel doesn't. But of course they call Rye sometimes, and so is Rye Copy. Yeah, Rachel it's very much not an E at the end, so that makes it good. So yeah, so to answer your question, no, Bobby is not my real name. It's a nickname. Okay, what type of coffee do you like? Any kind of coffee. No, I shouldn't say that. I don't like flavored coffee. I can't like hazelnut, vanilla, cinnamon. Oh, I can't stand that. I like just plain, give me the real stuff. I like strong coffee. If it tastes like just water with a little bit of flavor, that's disgusting to me. I like nice, strong coffee. I like a good amount of cream in it, and I like some sweetener in it, usually Splenda, which I know is not good for you, but I have to have it in there. And I love coffee. Love coffee. My favorite right now is actually from Costco. Their Kirkland brand is really good. And I get it already ground. I know I'm not a snob. I don't feel like I have to grind it. I do love a pour over, and I love a French press as well. And I have those, and sometimes I do it that way. But mostly I do it in my Keurig with the refillable kind, and I use that instead of the K-cups. Because first of all, it's cheaper, better for our environment, and I can direct how strong it is based on that. So, coffee. I love coffee. This is a question. You have beautiful teeth. Thank you. What have you had done or do you keep or do to keep them so pretty? Oh, that's nice. I had braces for many years, so that's what got them straight when I was a kid. That is one of the biggest questions I get almost every single time I do a Q&A or many comments on videos. I get commented about my teeth, how I whiten them and all that. And I think people expect it to be this big drawn out thing. I literally use Crest White Strips Gentle Routine, and I've answered this question so many times, but I will keep doing it because I know I'd wonder as well if it were me watching a video and I admired her teeth. So I have to do the gentle routine because otherwise it hurts my teeth. And I get them on Amazon because it's very hard to find them in stores. I always look and I never can find the gentle routine one. So it's linked in I'll put it below if I remember. I will put it below, but it's also in my Amazon storefront, which is linked below. So it's always on there. I have had so many people ask me and I've pointed them to there, and you can get it on Amazon. And so then if you have Prime, it's free shipping, and yay. So Crest White Strips. Last question, and then I will show you guys my Christmas decor. So the question is, have you always lived in Pennsylvania? No, I was born in upstate New York, way upstate New York. Then I lived outside of Chicago, Illinois, in Winfield, Illinois, which is right next to Wheaton, Illinois. A lot of people have heard of Wheaton. Then from there, I went back up to upstate New York. My dad was a pastor, and so he would get different churches that he was the pastor at, so we would obviously move. So I did a lot of years. My most growing up was in Winfield, Illinois. Then my high school years was in Ithaca, New York, where Cornell University is, and my dad had a pastorate there. That's where I graduated high school. Okay. This is just I have moved so many times, and it's a lot of myself. I will say I never lived in my parents' house since I graduated from high school, like never again. And it wasn't planned that way, and I had a good relationship with them. It's just the way the Lord took my life. It was weird. So I guess it wasn't weird, but a lot of people think it's odd that I did that. From high school, I'm going to make this really short because this could be a very long, drawn-out story. From high school, I went, where did I go? Okay, I went 1 year to college. I told you I did 1 year of college. Did not like where I was at all at the college. And I left there and I went to Colorado. No. I found out about a job in Cape May, New Jersey, and I worked in Cape May in this big hotel all summer into the fall. From there, I found out about a job in Colorado, an hour west of Pueblo, and I lived in the Sangre de Cristo mountain range for the winter into the spring. I lived there, and I was a housekeeper for their it was a resort. So we all did housekeeping, like we all cleaned the cabins and stuff. It was a Christian resort. It's called it was in West Cliff, Colorado, and it was Horn Creek. It was called Horn Creek. I don't know. You can look it up in the internet. It's called Horn Creek, I think. So it was a really beautiful place right in the mountain range. I mean, we literally I could open my back door, and if there were deer around, they were so not used to people hunting, they would walk right up to my door and I could feed them. Now, you had to be careful, obviously, but amazing place. And I almost got struck by lightning. It was just it was an adventure. So from there, I found out about a nanny job in Teaneck, New Jersey, and I lived in Teaneck, New Jersey. It was right outside of New York City, and I was a nanny for 2 children there for 4 years. And when I was there, I went back to school, and I met my husband, and we got married in the church that we met in, and yeah, we lived there, and then Pennsylvania. There you go. Okay, I know I didn't get to everyone's questions. There were way too many for me to answer. I will do this again and we will get some other answers done. So now I'm going to show you my Christmas decor. We did it just a couple days ago. Rachel helped me and it was a lot of fun. So I will leave you with my Christmas decor, some befores and afters, and I will see you guys in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe. God bless.